Teff once again. What's up, 23% Nation? This is your man, Coach D. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm back with whole grain of the day, the one and only Teff. Now, perhaps you're like me and you've never heard of Teff before. Maybe you're unlike me and you eat Teff day in and day out. Well, whatever the case may be, please listen on. Why? Because we're about to dive into the wonderful world of Teff. All right, first up, just a little bit of background information about Teff. Teff is a small gluten-free grain. All right, so to a lot of us, that's great news. Why? Because a lot of people, unfortunately, are very sensitive to gluten, which is the protein that is commonly found in whole grain plants, right? So the good news is that Teff is gluten-free. Yummy. Also, it's a species of love grass native to Ethiopia. How nice. All right. So there you have it, guys. We now know that Teff originates from the country of Ethiopia. And guess what? It's gluten-free. All right, now it's time for a few fun facts. Cooking Teff is very similar to cooking quinoa. That's right. However, there is a slight difference. All right. Teff may need just a little more water than quinoa when cooking. As a matter of fact, here's the ratio that you want to use. 1 cup of Teff to 3 cups of water. So once again, the ratio is 1 to 3. 1 cup of Teff to 3 cups of water. Now, of course, for those of us who love to cook whole grains, you can determine the texture of your whole grain by simply adding more water or subtracting more water. Ultimately, the decision is yours. But as a general rule of thumb, we can always go with the ratio of 1 to 3. 1 cup of Teff to 3 cups of water. All right, now before we proceed, ladies and gentlemen, it's very important that we discuss and understand the 5-20 rule. Basically, the 5-20 rule is all about food labels. That's right. It's a guide that helps us know whether or not a food item is a good source or not a good source of any particular nutrient. Now, when we're talking about the 5-20 rule, we always have to take into consideration the percent daily value, abbreviated percent DV. Now, to help me expand on this particular topic, let's take a look at our diagram. Now, in the diagram, as you can see, is a sample food label. Now, percent daily value is highlighted in lavender, and then we have a few nutrients that are highlighted in yellow, and then we have a few nutrients that are highlighted in a light blue. So let's go ahead and decipher what all this means. Once again, the 5-20 rule lets us know whether or not a food item is a good source or not a good source of any particular nutrient. Now, notice something. There are a few nutrients highlighted in yellow, specifically total fat. But under total fat, notice that they have 2 types of fats. You have saturated fat and then you have trans fats. And then we have cholesterol and then we have sodium. Now, here's the thing about those nutrients is that unfortunately, when consumed in excess, those nutrients do lead to very common diet-related diseases. Now, if we look at the other nutrients that are highlighted in the light blue, such as dietary fiber, vitamins, and minerals, those are the nutrients that we actually want to get more of. Why? Because they do just the opposite of the ones that are in yellow. Rather than promote disease, they fight disease. So there you have it. In a nutshell, whenever you look at any food label, you definitely want to make sure that the total fat, cholesterol, and sodium are at the lower end of the spectrum, and that your fiber, vitamins, and nutrients are at the higher end of the spectrum. But let's no longer use the words higher and lower. Let's now be a little more specific, shall we? Here's the thing. When we talk about the 5-20 rule, but more specifically percent daily value, you'll notice that certain percentages are given. Now, if a food item offers anywhere from 0% to 9%, then technically it is not a good source of that particular nutrient. If it offers 10% to 19%, then it is considered a good source of that particular nutrient. And lastly, if a food item offers 20% or more, then it is considered an excellent source of that particular nutrient. So there you have it, guys. We now know all the ins and outs about the 5-20 rule. All right, so now that we're fully aware of the 5-20 rule, let's now dive into the nutrition facts of Teff. Now, for this lecture, we're simply going to say that 1 cup of cooked Teff is a single serving. So, if we cook it and we eat it and we only consume 1 cup of it, then this is what we're putting inside of our bodies. 255 calories, 1.6 grams of fat, 20 milligrams of sodium, 50 grams of carbs, 7 grams of dietary fiber, and look at this, 10 grams of protein. Now, a lot of people don't think that plant foods, specifically whole grains, contain protein. Well, this is a myth buster. As you can see, only a single cup of cooked Teff is going to offer the body 10 grams of protein. Amazing. Now, let's take a look at our vitamins and minerals. First up is thiamine, coming in at 31% DV. Now, based on the 5-20 rule, this Teff is an excellent source of thiamine. Next up is vitamin B6, coming in at 12% DV. Well, 12% is between 10 and 19%, so it is a good source of vitamin B6. Next up is niacin, coming in at 11% DV. So it's a good source. Riboflavin, also known as vitamin B2, comes in at only 5% DV, which makes it not a good source of vitamin B2 or riboflavin. Next up is manganese. Now check this out. 360% DV. So what that simply means is that 1 cup of Teff is actually providing your body with more than what it really needs. 360%, well, you're well over 100%. So it is an excellent source of manganese. Take a look at magnesium, coming in at 32% DV. Excellent source. Phosphorus, 30% DV. Another excellent source. Look at this. Iron, that's right, iron, coming in at 29% DV. Excellent source. Copper, 28% DV. Excellent source. Zinc, coming in at 19%, just under 20%. So we can't say it's an excellent source. However, we can say that it is a good source of zinc. Next up is calcium, coming in at 12%, makes it a good source. Potassium, 6%, not a good source. And lastly, sodium. Right now, earlier we said that it offered 20 milligrams of sodium. Well, that 20 milligrams of sodium actually only translates to only 1% DV. So for Teff, it is definitely not a good source of sodium. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the nutrition facts of Teff. All right, now that we know about the 5-20 rule, and now that we've covered the nutrition facts, it's time to dive into the health benefits. But before we do, Coach D wants to offer this. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very important that we begin to discuss and understand the principle of cause and effect, which basically states that every cause has its effect and every effect has its cause. There is no such thing as chance and or luck. As a matter of fact, everything happens for a reason. So, what does all that mean? What it means is this, is that the foods that you put into your body have different effects on your health. So, if we revert back to the nutrition facts, well, those are the causes and the health benefits are the effects. So in other words, if you want to be healthy, you got to put the good stuff in. If you want to be disease, then you got to put the bad stuff in. Ultimately, the choice is yours. So now that we've covered that, let's now focus on the health benefits. Number one, Teff aids circulation. It also promotes weight loss. It relieves PMS symptoms. It boosts the immune system. It supports bone health. It aids digestion. It supports cardiovascular health. It manages diabetic symptoms. Serves as a high source of protein, and it serves as a gluten alternative. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the health benefits of Teff. All right, it's now time to talk about food, but specifically plant foods. That's right. Now, normally our go-to website for everything vegan is forksOverKnives.com. But for whatever reason, they decided not to have any Teff recipes. So I had to go elsewhere. So say hello to naturallyella.com. It's a great website. Now, I did my research on the site, and look at what I found. 2 amazing vegan Teff recipes that I want to share with you right now. The first one is entitled Chocolate Teff Porridge, yummy. And the second one is multi-grain pilaf with quinoa, millet, and teff. Now, chances are if you eat that, you're going to get a boatload of fiber. So have your toilet paper ready. All right, guys, so here's the great thing. If either one of these dishes somehow excite you, then all you have to do is click on the description box. Why? Because I am providing you with a direct link to these actual recipes. Now, here's the good news. The site is going to provide you with the ingredient list as well as the cooking instructions. So please check them out, cook them, taste them, come back to the video and let Coach D know how they taste. All right. Now, a lot of you are probably saying, well, Coach D, I really appreciate the 2 Teff recipes. I love the nutrition facts. I even really enjoyed the fun facts, right? But what I really want to know is, when should I eat more Teff? Well, believe it or not, it's a very, very easy answer. Guys, the best day to eat more Teff is Nature Day. What? Nature Day. That's right, guys, Nature Day. Nature Day happens to be the first day of the 23% challenge. Now, maybe you've been living under a rock and you know nothing about the 23% challenge. Well, in a nutshell, the 23% challenge is a monthly 7-day wellness program that is designed to help improve your health, your wealth, your relationships. Oh, and it also helps to save planet Earth. Now, once again, the 23% challenge is a 7-day wellness program. As a matter of fact, it's the first 7 days of every single month, the 1st through the 7th. Now, being that Nature Day is the first day of the challenge, Nature Day simply is the first day of every single month. So whether it's June 1st, May 1st, or even January 1st, it's always Nature Day. All right. Now, perhaps you are interested in Nature Day, and maybe you want to learn a little more about it. Well, here we go. Guys, Nature Day is all about getting closer to nature. Now, yes, there are lots of different things you can do in order to get closer to nature. You can go swim in the ocean. You can go pet a pet. Or we could simply eat it. That's right, guys. Nature Day is all about getting closer to nature by simply eating more plants. As a matter of fact, that's our 3-word mantra for Nature Day. It's #EatMorePlants. Now, perhaps you, for whatever reason, are interested in eating more plants, or maybe you are considering transitioning to a more plant-based diet. Well, if you are, I would like to offer you 3 different avenues that I believe can help facilitate that. So the first type of vegan that I want to discuss is what I like to call a 3% vegan. Now, a 3% vegan is anyone who only eats plants and drinks only water only 1 day out of an entire month. Now, the second type is a 13% vegan, which basically translates to only 4 days out of an entire month, where you eat only plant foods and drink only water. And then the third type is a 23% vegan. Now, technically, that's what Coach D is, a 23% vegan, which translates to every month for 7 days, I eat only plants and I drink only water. Now, the question is, which 7 days, Coach D? Well, remember, we're talking about the 23% challenge. So we're talking about the first 7 days of every single month, right? Coach D is eating only from the 5 food groups of plant foods. So what does that mean? It means that I'm allowed to eat all fruits, all vegetables and herbs, all whole grains, all nuts and seeds, and all legumes, meaning beans and peas. And of course, only drinking water all 7 days. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We now know the ins and outs about Nature Day. All right. So maybe at this time you are really excited about Nature Day. Maybe you want to become a 3% vegan, a 13% vegan, or maybe you want to push yourself to your limits and try to be a 23% vegan, like Coach D. So if that's you, I now want to offer you a few tips, right? Basically, these tips are little bits and pieces of advice to help you have a very successful Nature Day. So here we go. The first tip is for me to let you know that you can always go visit your local grocery store. Now, when you go to the grocery store, you pretty much are only going to go 2 places. The first place is going to be the produce section. Why? Because that's where all of your fresh plant foods are located. Your fruits, your vegetables, your nuts and seeds, your whole grains, things of that nature. Now, the second place that you can go to is the freezer aisle. That's right. Believe it or not, frozen fruits, frozen vegetables, and frozen legumes, not only do they last longer in your kitchen, right? But when it comes to their nutrient content, they're very, very competitive with their fresh counterparts. Next up, go visit a farmer's market. Now, believe it or not, guys, farmers markets are amazing. Why? Because they only offer fresh produce. Now, here's something that's really interesting about farmers markets, is that the produce that is there is organic. That's right, guys. It is certified organic. Also, the farmers, they use less pesticides and less herbicides. Why? Because they are grown locally. So what that means is that there's less transit time. And because there's less transit time, that reduces the cost to the farmers, which then that savings is passed on to the end consumer, meaning you and me. My third tip is to suggest that you go visit the prepared dishes section of your grocery store. Now, while you're in the grocery store, in the freezer aisle, and also in the produce section, why don't we walk on over to the prepared dishes section, also known as the kitchen? Now, the reason why I'm suggesting that you go visit the kitchen is because over there, they have cooked plant foods, right? Because I do understand that a lot of people complain about not knowing how to cook plant foods or not having the time to cook plant foods. So here's what I say. Let someone else do the cooking for you, right? Now, when you walk over there and you see something you like, talk to the person behind the counter. Make sure that whatever it is you're eyeing is either vegan or vegetarian. Now, if you've never tasted it before, ask them for a quick sample. They'll provide it for you. And if you like it, hopefully you do, buy it by the pound or maybe even 2 pounds. And my last tip to have a successful Nature Day is going to be to visit a vegan restaurant. That's right, guys, a vegan restaurant. Now, here's the great thing about vegan restaurants is that vegan restaurants hire vegan chefs. And vegan chefs, not only do they know which plant foods to cook together to create the most nutritious dishes, but they also know how to combine the best flavors, thus giving you the best tasting vegan dishes, right? So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. 4 tips to help you have a very successful Nature Day. All right, now it's time for our question of the day, which comes from yours truly and the rest of the 23% nation. We want to know, which Teff recipe do you prefer? Was it the first one, the second one, or maybe, just maybe, you know of a vegan Teff recipe that you would like to share with us? So, whether you want to take one of mine or share one of yours, please write it in the comment box below. Guys, I want to thank you for watching. I definitely want to thank you for listening. As always, let's eat well, feel well, think well, do well. This is your man, Coach D. Now, before I sign out, I got to ask you to please subscribe, especially if you love Teff. Also, don't forget to use our 3-word mantra. It's hashtag eat more plants. My name is Coach D. I'm signing out. As always, take care, God bless, and never ever forget that Coach D loves you.